Every game, every Sunday afternoon in crystal clear HD. That's over 220 football games for the entire regular season. Plus, NFL Sunday Ticket gets you up to 8 live games on one screen with Game Mix. You'll get that died and woke up in football heaven experience when you include NFL Red Zone, a channel dedicated to every scoring play from every game and all your fantasy football teams. Get in the game with NFL Sunday Ticket. Call 601-8992 today.
Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned into MB12 Weekend, broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight, the F&M questions government's involvement in Baha Mar negotiations. A man shot dead outside of a home. Crooked Islanders relocate after Joaquin, plus a Golden Knight prepares to host his long-awaited invitational. I'm Paige McCartney. We've got those stories and more straight ahead on MB12 Weekend. To MB12. Despite formal liquidation forecasted on November 2nd and yesterday's dismissal of 2,000 Baha Mar employees due to the perilous financial position of the companies, Prime Minister Perry Christie yesterday told diplomats that he looks forward to the stalled project opening in the not-too-distant future and remains optimistic following discussions with stakeholders on Thursday night. It was unclear if Baha Mar CEO Sarkis Merlion took part in those reportedly ongoing negotiations. During an address at an event for diplomats at the Atlantis Resort, Christie said, with so much at stake, resolution must come. He said he's aware of the commitment of the government of the People's Republic of China to ensure a just outcome in this matter. He added that the dark clouds will soon shift and the government will not desert those 2,000 laid-off workers. Christie went on to speak about the government's preparations to facilitate Baha Mar and the point China Construction America's $250 million downtown resort intended to open in 2017. That resort will boast 110 condo units, a 200-room hotel, 14 restaurants, movie theater, and marina. In a letter to employees on Thursdays, the joint provisional liquidator said following a review of the financial affairs of the companies, it became clear that the companies couldn't meet all the operational costs, including existing staff levels. Well, the Free National Movement is questioning why government ever became involved in the Baha Mar debacle, with party chairman Michael Pintard saying no one from government has done anything that has proven beneficial for the Bahamian people since the resort's troubles began.
We are unclear on any efforts that are being made by the government that we believe will bear fruit.
Baha Mar's provisional liquidators were granted approval by Supreme Court Justice Ian Winder to make more than 2,000 Baha Mar employees redundant. When asked about the layoffs on Thursday, Attorney General Allison Maynard Gibson said government maintains its position that Bahamian jobs be retained. Pintard said government lost any say in protecting Bahamian interests when it filed a winding up petition in the Supreme Court.
No suggestion that the government is making publicly they have the authority to enforce. This project is now in the hands of the liquidator. So notwithstanding comments made by the Attorney General, the government does not determine what happens from this point.
He said it was arrogant of government to believe that it could keep paying the salaries of Baha Mar employees.
The government, when it intervened, suggested that any monies paid is coming out of monies that they already owe, that they already owe to Baha Mar. The reality is, a government is not in a position to determine how monies it owes to another party, how it's going to be spent.
And Pintard said the F&M is even more concerned about those people who will be joining the unemployment line in an already downtrodden economy with low job prospects. In other news tonight, police say a man was shot to death as he sat on the front porch of a Taylor Street home in Nassau Village yesterday. According to officer in charge of the Central Detective Unit, Chief Superintendent Paul Roll, at around 4 p.m. yesterday, 3 assailants opened fire on him.
Our preliminary investigation is that the young man was sitting on the porch of his residence when 3 persons pulled up in a Nissan type vehicle, exited wearing TAM masks and armed with handguns, entered the yard where the victim was sitting and began discharging shots at him. He was struck multiple times and collapsed on the porch of the residence where he was found and later pronounced dead.
Police are appealing to anyone with information on this latest killing to come forward with information.
We appeal to anybody who would have seen anything in this area this afternoon or who would have any information that can help us to provide that information to the police in order to help us advance this investigation here this evening.
This is the 122nd murder for the year, just 5 shy from meeting the murder record of 127 set in 2011. Well, that wasn't the only shooting overnight. Police say at around 10:30 last night, a man was walking through a track road on Pratt's Alley off Rupert Dean Lane when a gunman approached and shot him. He's in serious condition in hospital. Then at around 11 p.m., police say a man was walking along Taylor Street off East Street when he was also approached by a gunman who shot him before running off. That victim is also in serious condition in hospital. Well, the widespread destruction caused by Hurricane Joaquin has forced the exodus of nearly half of Crooked Island's population, according to the Crooked Islanders Association. Members have pledged to help rebuild that island. Jasmine Brown has the story.
Crooked Island was one of the hardest hit by the storm, with many homes being completely destroyed. As a result, residents had to leave the island. President of the Crooked Island Development Association, Deborah Ferguson, says they've estimated half of that island's population has relocated following Hurricane Joaquin's devastating impact on Crooked Island. That works out to more than 100 residents. Ferguson says the majority of them have moved to New Providence since the storm's passage.
And you can imagine that it has great impact on the family who've had to be relocated, some of the families including young children.
Ferguson says many of the affected residents are staying with relatives and their children have been transferred to schools across the capital. She adds that many see it as a temporary move.
They are very resilient. Our people have always had to work hard for life. And so while this is a very traumatic incident on everyone, you can see the strength. And when you see what's left of the island, only God really could protect you for you to emerge from that. And so having emerged from that, our people can look forward to a future. It's not going to be easy, but we know that we can make it happen.
Prime Minister Perry Christie revealed that nearly 900 homes were destroyed. A total of 413 homes were destroyed on Long Island, 277 on San Salvador, 123 in Acklands, 23 on Rum Cay, and 50 on Crooked Island. Ferguson says as rebuilding efforts begin, they would like to see the islands to the south not just rebuilt, but also enhanced.
So this is the kind of population you're talking about. So therefore, this is the time for all of us, all Crooked Islanders, all of the powers that be, to collate all forces together to give these islands new birth. It's going to lead to a renaissance. It's not going to be easy.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Brown.